Welcome back to Filthy Hope. Filthy Hope is a podcast where we talk about real life stories with real people. Today's guest is going to talk about some issues around mental health. We hope that that's really helpful for you, but if you feel triggered, please reach out to somebody. You can reach out to many of the helplines here in Australia. There's Lifeline and other counselling services. If you're in a different country, just hit that internet and find a service. Don't ever suffer in silence. Please talk to somebody if what we talk about triggers something for you. But we hope it's helpful, and we'll get back to our episode.
The school they sent me to try and help was a private school, unnamed, and the teacher there took a rubber hose from the science lab, put lead in the end of it, and belted me with it. I started to be violent with the kids in the school, so I'd pick up chairs if they upset me and smash them over their heads. So I was suspended on multiple occasions and failed every year. I went 20 years no meds, then just one day the lights went off and I just couldn't cope.
Life's really gritty at times, isn't it? We explore where we can access grace in the midst of the struggle.
Welcome to Filthy Hope.
Hello, Reverend Brother.
Hello, Reverend Sister.
Are you so excited?
I am.
Our guest is amazing today.
Hello, Reverend Brother Dr.
Yeah, Reverend Dr. Peter Powell.
Hi,
Yeah,
people.
Reverend Dr.
Hi,
Peter.
people.
Yeah, we're so excited. Peter Powell is a legend in the Uniting Church. He's been a reverend ordained for 56 years, but Peter's also a psychologist for more than 36 years?
Oh, yeah, 30. Yeah, about
38 years.
Yeah, something like that.
A long time.
Oh.
And Peter comes with a wealth of experience and knowledge and wisdom, and we thought we'd invite him into the studio today for a conversation about all things mental health and his story.
Yeah, and his story. So we'll have 3 episodes. First about Peter's story, because he's got quite a banger one. And then we're going to talk about neurodiversity, ADHD, and then we're going to look at, is there help for people who are sex offenders? So that's going to be a deep
biggie.
dive. So
It's a biggie.
3 episodes. Watch them all if you're interested.
I think you're going to get a taste of real grit and real grace.
And we're going to be a bit crazy because we're all
Totally.
we're all over the shop sometimes. So this conversation is going to be like a roller coaster.
I'm going to be one that wrangles them both in, people. Can you believe it?
I need to clarify that clinical psychology, when they registered first in Australia, I was in America registered. Over here, they didn't register until 1992.
So interesting.
And so it was just registered psychologists. Then the clinical came later. But by that time, I was getting older.
Yeah.
I had the clinical in America. I wasn't going to do more things in Australia, just to clarify. So
Yeah, thanks, Peter.
the real term is psychologist.
Yes.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah, retired.
Yep.
Retired. So who is Peter Powell, the doctor, psychologist, reverend? So how would you describe yourself if somebody met you in a pub?
Friendly, happy, sometimes depressed, anxious, neurodiverse, disorganised, eccentric. That'd be a bit.
Cool. With a dash of ADHD.
A lot of ADHD.
Peter, were you diagnosed with ADHD as a little person?
No.
How did that play
When
out?
I started in school in the 1940s, I got expelled from kindergarten for bad behaviour. Preschool kindergarten, I was expelled. Then I went through primary school, right through, and failed every year. Primary school. In those days, you just went to high school anyway. So I failed year 7, did year 7 again, failed year 8, did year 8 again, failed year 9. They said you can't do it again. Went into year 10 and failed year 10. By that time, I was driving a car. I was 2 or 3 years older than everybody else. So in those days, you were just a difficult child or a terrible child or a delinquent child.
The naughty kid.
Well, more than naughty. It was bigger than naughty because I got on some really bad issues. And then they thought, well, the way to straighten that out would be to, in those days you got caned.
Yeah.
So 6 on one hand, 6 on the other with a piece of cane.
Yeah.
But the school they sent me to, my parents sent me to try and help, was a private school, unnamed, and the teacher there took a rubber hose or plastic hose from the science lab, put lead in the end of it and belted me with it. So I would go into the sick bay with bruises and the nurse would let me rest a while, send me back to class. It would happen again. So when I got bigger, by the time I was about 14, I was 6'2", whatever that is in the new money.
Tall.
And so when the teachers tried to do that, I'd just say,
Don't touch me, man.
don't touch me, I'll effing take your head off.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, and sorry.
So I became a violent child.
Well,
So-
only because you experienced violence in school.
That's right. There was violence in school.
Modelled
and I had to,
and
I
practiced.
had to respond to that. And then I started to be violent with the kids in the school. So I'd pick up chairs if they upset me and smash them over their head. So I was suspended on multiple occasions.
Wow.
There was one occasion when the teacher said, I can't. I got thrown out of class for multiple times. So I went down to the deputy head and he said, look, I don't know what to do with you. Here's 2 shillings. Go down the shop and buy a bag of peanuts.
Is that right?
Well, I figure out what to do with you.
Wow.
And but first of all, he said, go back to class. I can't deal with you. So I went back to class. I was back again within 5 minutes. So that's when I got the peanut thing.
You can't have possibly been the only ADHD kid in school.
Oh, no, there were a lot. Look, I reckon, as I specialise in that as a treatment psychologist, there's probably 5, 6, 7% in the
Right.
population. And that's universal across the world.
Yep.
It's a neurological disorder. It's not a behavioural disorder, but it leads to behavioural disorders. And so I didn't get diagnosed at all. But when my son in America got to 13 doing exactly the same thing.
Behaviourally.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My clinical director said, I think your son might have ADD, they called it
Yeah.
then.
What does that stand for?
Attention deficit disorder. And the H is the hyperactivity. So we took him to a psychiatrist in America and got medication, and it was like chalk and cheese. The next day,
Different kid.
different child. When we got back to Australia in 86, there was a lot of controversy. It was very new,
Yep.
and medication was like a no-no for the child.
Yep.
And of course, there had been over-medication, and there's still over-medication.
Yep.
But we couldn't get 2 psychiatrists to agree, so he was not given the medication, and that has had lifelong problems for him because he struggles, and even now at 54, but he would have been so much better with the medication.
Yeah. So,
So I
did you?
got my diagnosis when he got his. Basically,
Right.
I was in my 40s.
Right. Did you have an inkling? Did you just think there was something wrong with you?
No, I
Or-
just thought everyone else was a bit
Oh,
dull.
well, that's
you know?
good. So you're a bit resilient.
I thought, I don't need the medication.
I'm fine.
Everyone else does to come up.
Yeah.
A bit like a person with a bipolar disorder. When you're on a high, you think you're fine. You don't take your meds. So I knew I was disorganised and a bit kind of klutzy, but I thought that was just me. But when I took medication, it was like the lights went on. It was just amazing. Now, it doesn't mean I'm not eccentric and a bit out there, but the medication stops me being, particularly the anxiety, because you get what they call comorbid disorders.
Right.
They go with the ADHD.
Which is
they call it neuro.
parallel. They happen at the same time.
I get depression, anxiety, panic attacks, you name it, pretty well the whole shooting match. And we were going to England years ago, well, not that long ago, because I went 20 years no meds, still eccentric, but finding my way around. Then just one day the lights went off and I just couldn't cope. So it can be as sudden as that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
what it was, I think, in hindsight, was I was on the college.
Yep.
I was
Which college?
The Uniting College. So I built.
Becoming a minister?
No, this is only back in 2007.
Okay.
So we built a house here in 1998. We started a charity called the Pastoral Counselling Institute, which is now part of Uniting.
Yep.
In a different name now, Genesis Psychology. And they painted the houses, took all the paintings off the wall, painted the house, and that just, the change, which you can't adapt to,
Yeah.
suddenly the brain goes.
Wow.
And I could not do work anymore.
Wow.
It's a bit like it was when I got the breakdown in 76. Couldn't go to work, stay in bed all day, depressed. So I went, and I hadn't had medication for decades. And I went to the doctor, got this particular medication. The lights went on. I went to England. The car we're supposed to get in Ireland wasn't there. The place that organised the car wasn't there. And I said to my wife, oh, well, just find another dealer. And she said, are you okay?
Yeah, right.
And it was the medication.
Cool.
And Peter, were you on ADHD medication at the same time as antidepressant, or was that the ADHD medication?
The medication I got is an antidepressant. It's an
Yep.
SSRI.
Yep.
You look that up.
Yep.
Don't ask me to say it with my teeth
Yep.
in. It's an SSRI, which means, but it's a main antidepressant, but
Yep.
the particular one, which is paroxetine, okay, or it's called Avapro is the brand name, and that is particularly good for panic attack. and
Is it?
anxiety.
Yeah, wow.
So it is an antidepressant, but it helps me with panic that can be, because the frontal lobe isn't working well in the neurodiverse person, so you're impulsive, you can act out a bit.
Wow.
And it just gives that little buffer, a bit like putting
Yeah.
water in a battery.
Yeah,
And
bit
you
of
got
protection.
you don't have that frontal lobe
Yeah.
Twitching.
clamping down the amygdala, which is going nuts.
I
Go,
know,
yeah,
yeah,
life
Wow.
is nuts. So
So now
amygdala is your
Yeah, I can go.
If that's a hand and that's your brain, you've got your crinkly stuff on the top. I'll do it this way, crinkly
Yeah.
stuff. Front is where you make your rational decisions. So that's the executive functions, right and wrong, that sort of stuff, judgment. And in the middle is the primitive reptilian brain called the amygdala, and that's where your emotions go. And if you get triggered by that, it can sometimes call a amygdala hijack, and you just like lose your shite. You're out of control.
I call my amygdala Amy G.
Amy G.
I like Amy G, and I just go, Amy G's losing her shit right now.
Well, there's a lot of it at the
That's it.
moment because the road rage we see much more than when I was growing up. I think there's a lot of people just need some medication or
Well, sometimes,
bit of calming down.
and a bit of cultural control
Bit of cultural
too,
control,
because sometimes
absolutely.
you can bring it back down
You
if you
can.
just use your brain, crinkly stuff, instead of flying off the handle.
And Peter, with when Amy G goes off, it's not always only for people that are neurodiverse,
Oh, no,
is
no.
it?
Look,
No, anyone.
we've often said when we're in the clinic, because the problem was once it got diagnosed, then everyone's got it.
Right.
Well, the thing about the neurodiverse or the ADHD behaviour is that the ADHD neurodiverse person is only doing what everyone does,
Yeah.
right? Except they do it more often and more intensely with more
Yes.
damage.
Yes.
So people will say, but I lose my keys twice a day.
Right.
Yes, but do you lose your keys and then go around and smash windows or
Right.
punch yourself in the head? Because one of my things in the early days before meds was to beat my own head up.
Yeah.
Take a fist.
Frustration.
That's why you see in a developmental disability setting, which I worked in with my
Wow.
theories for a long time, they put helmets on these people, not because they're going to have a fall over with,
Dong themselves.
they go on the wall and just smash
Just
their
bang.
head.
Yeah, wow.
So I would do a lot of that.
Part of that sensory stuff too,
Yeah,
regulation,
absolutely.
stimulation.
And you
So-
can, and it's
So let's
like,
get back to his story.
Yeah, get back
now.
to
yeah, I know, but
So-
gee, I love it though.
Yeah.
Sorry, did I take
So
us there?
did you think you were dumb because you were failing all this stuff, or
I
did you
kinda-
just
I
knew?
kind of knew I wasn't dumb, but I also was very aware. See, when I met my wife, and that's part of the issue, if the neurodiverse person meets a strong, focused person that'll mentor and work alongside, not mother and control, mentor, it is magic.
Wow.
And so
Scaffold and support.
Yeah. So we asked the question when we wrote our first edition of the book back 30 years ago,
So what's your
What
book called?
book?
Raising Difficult Children.
Right, cool.
4 editions. So why was Peter in school doing really badly in that class and threatening to kill the teacher? Moves to the next class and he's fine. Because if it's oppositional defiant disorder
Yep.
or conduct disorder, that doesn't happen.
No.
They're consistent. And so we found that there are mentoring teachers that they what we call share social power.
Wow.
I can't control you, but I can control my class. Do you work with me or against me?
Yeah.
I can work with you.
Plus, there were probably subjects that you enjoyed, and so you just went,
That too,
whoa.
but it would have worked with the others.
Yeah.
But the other teacher would say, you do as you're told, don't you swear in my class. What do you mean don't swear? Just F and did.
Yeah.
F and do it again.
Yep.
So the more control, the worse it gets.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, so obviously there's a mentoring factor that we built in. And so we built that into our treatment program. We call this the Uncle Charlie effect, because when my younger son went to New Orleans, he was chaotic, but then Uncle Charlie had a pickup truck, took him out on the farm, one-on-one, no behaviour problem at all.
Interesting.
In a classroom with many stimulus,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, cool.
So we try to get the kindergartens to take all those dingle-dangles down,
Yes.
make a calmer room.
Oh, wow. So interesting.
Awesome. So grew up,
Yeah.
worked out your ADHD.
Yeah, went through
How did
school-
you then fall into being a doctor, a PhD? So obviously
Yeah.
it's not the normal school path where you went through
No,
school, went to
no,
uni, went to the next degree, got the next degree, and then went to the next one, the highest degree.
I think meeting my wife, I think if you find the mentor, and my both sons have great mentors in their partners, and the grandkids have found mentors in their partners. We don't know why, but the boys are more prone than the girls. So I've got granddaughters that are fine. boys struggle. So meeting my wife meant, okay, I think I can get school finished. I can't do it in the school environment.
Yeah.
So I went back to TAFE in those days and
Yep.
I did my leaving certificate at TAFE.
Were you married at this stage?
No, this is before I got married. This is when I was about 20, got married at 22. So
Cool. And for those who don't know Australia, TAFE is technical and further education. It used to be like your practical subjects like plumbing and all the trades. It was like a trade school.
Which unfortunately has been a little bit gutted, but that's another story. So I went back but still I'm struggling.
Yeah.
So to matriculate, you need a maths or a language. And I knew the maths was going, I had to do the maths, but I just kept failing. I cannot to this day do maths. And so it was either French, which a language, or maths.
Interesting.
French I hadn't done since 1956. So I thought, no. So I picked up geography, which I'd never done before because it's a humanities subject.
Yep.
And so I passed history, English, and ancient and modern history. But again, Bs, which is the kind of average, not the A.
Well, C's make degrees.
Oh,
so
I thought
B's
B
are
was a
great.
great. I would
Bs.
love a B.
I got Bs, but you needed 5 to matriculate, so I get 4. This is 1963. So I went back again in 1964, did it again, 5 nights a week at Tech after working all day. Got the 4 Bs again. Went to theological college, so I want to go to be a minister, and they said, but you haven't matriculated. And in those days it was BA, BD, 2 degrees, 6-year course.
So BA, Bachelor of Arts, and then Bachelor of Divinity.
And I said, well, I can't do it. So I went back and in those days in the Congregational Union, you could run a church as a pastor. So I went down to Ferry Meadow in 1966, became the lay pastor and worked. On the base of that success, they said you can enter college and do the diploma program at the college and then we'll see how you go.
It's so offensive.
Yeah.
It's so
Why you can't just do the one subject that you couldn't get over the line
wrong.
with? Yeah.
These days I couldn't matriculate because you got a wider range of courses you can get. But in
Yeah.
those days it was maths, language, maths, English, maths, English, language. That was it.
Yep.
Cool.
So I couldn't do it. So I went into college, and then because in those days the college was non-degreed or non-diplomaed, it was just a certificate, I then did all those exams again. So I did 13, 14 exams a year to get the diploma from Melbourne College of Divinity.
It kills me.
That was the LTH,
Yeah.
Licentiate in Theology. And then I did a diploma of pastoral care through the same university while I was in the church. You ask the next question. There's another story coming up.
Cool. So in that craziness that is life, and craziness not meaning dysfunction, just all the busyness that you don't have any control.
Prove himself.
Yeah, I know. It's just nuts. That's the nuts part. That
drives me nuts. Like, how many bloody hoops did you have to jump to prove that you were of the intellectual calibre to be a minister?
Well, there was one particular student, a lovely man who's unfortunately minister. One of our ministers died recently, but he was really good, and he was always top of everything. And one year I beat him in Greek. I was first, he was second. I hung on to that forever.
So God's part of this then, how did faith mesh into your story? How did you come to believe this God who's clearly made you in a way that, you could interpret it, that made you in this way that seems broken, but yet.
Good question. I came out of an atheist family, but my grandmother, the paradox is that during the war years, the parents are actually active in different things. And so I was raised by my grandmother, who was my father's mother, who in those days was a tyrant and didn't like men because her husband was an alcoholic. So I come from a long line of alcoholic people.
Good.
And it goes back to 1820. Everyone's drunk. I've never met a sober one. And so I buried all my uncles when they died and my father, all alcoholic. My father was what they call a dry alcoholic, so same behaviour, no drinking, not little drinking. So she was a tyrant, so she did the belting as well and shaming. So you wet the bed, you're out in the street to be showing off to the neighbours that this dirty boy just wet his bed. They were shame and belting time in the 40s.
Because anxiety's not going to make you wet your bed more or anything.
Probably not. so it was pretty. And then I remember, this is a funny memory at 3. You don't remember much before 3. But I remember in my little pedal car, and I'm pedaling around a tree on the grass in the front yard, still there. And my father had come back, this is about 46, 7. So he's involved in a lot of post-war stuff and immigration. So I've hardly seen him at all. And he's just come, and there's mum and dad on either side of grandma, and she's going, you should stop him peddling on the grass. He's going to kill the grass. And my little brain said, how do you do that?
How do you kill grass?
And then, of course, you had to eat your Brussels sprouts, otherwise children in China died.
Yeah.
And I can remember thinking at 3, would you please stand up to that?
Yeah, did you? Wow. And did they?
No, they never did because she was a tyrant. But she got me to go to church in my late teens. And then that church went to a mission, a very conservative fundamentalist mission, where I met Brenda, my wife.
Oh, wow.
Who was a Salvation Army girl. And she was there and we met. And I met her on Friday night. I was only 19. She was at least 17, 18, 16. And I met her on Friday night. And on Sunday I said, would you marry me? And she said yes. And then 3.5 years later, we got married.
Oh, and you're still married?
60 years.
And you got a bunch of kids and grandkids?
Kids and 2 kids, 4 grandkids.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
incredible. And she's hung out with you all that time.
So you met Brenda. Did you meet God?
Well, funny you should say that because
good question.
This is the October long weekend. On the Easter long weekend, we go every long weekend.
Yeah.
There was one of those preachers that was preaching a storm,
Yep.
And he's preaching about give your life to Jesus and follow Jesus into ministry and follow the way. And Brenda, being good Salvation Army girl, about 18 by then, 19, she said, well, I'm going to go out. So she went out.
Yeah. Like an altar call?
Like
Is
an
it
altar
that
call.
kind of thing?
And I thought, well, I'm going too.
Oh,
She's
bless.
going, I'm going. I'm with her.
Yeah.
So when the prayer counsellor came around, he said, and why have you come out, young man? I said, I'm with her. That's how I become a Christian.
Amen, Brenda.
So conceptually, is there a connection there? Like, when did it become real? Like, because
I think it became...
Because often we follow along with the religion and go, it sort of makes sense anyway.
No, it became real
part of the tribe.
Pretty quickly because they were very passionate. And in those days, I wasn't trying to figure out what kind of theology. I was just like, I just love this Jesus stuff. It's pretty good. And they weren't speaking in tongues, so that might have freaked me out those days, but they were very conservative. And that worked because you need something when you're young to hang your head on. I don't regret that. And but very soon after that, I got really excited. I actually went soon after that Easter weekend to offer for ministry. And they looked at my background and said, we think you might finish high school first.
Wow.
So I tried 5 years. I went to college to get in and got in on the 5th go.
Cool.
Oh, I love the tenacity.
Yeah.
The fact that you your story talks about a case of, and I want to say this, and this is going to sound really rude, but it's the only way I kind of can think to say it. It's like you just kept showing up. Fuck you, I'm going to show you. Because you knew deep in your soul, I reckon, that you could do this thing.
It was a deep in my soul feeling, and I would never say the F word because we didn't even know what that meant in those days.
Yeah.
I think bum was about the worst we
Bum.
came up with.
Bum was bad, wasn't it?
Just stuff you.
Yeah,
stuff you.
Might have said stuff you. But you're picking up a theme because I remember after about the 4th go through and they said, I kept getting these Bs. I didn't get the matriculation. So I had to go back and do my church. No, I wasn't doing the church. I was just doing the study and working. I was a taxation assessor, which is ironic. I had to leave my tax table. And but after about the 3rd go and I got knocked back, or the 4th go, I met the general high poobah on the street in town.
A church high poobah?
Yeah, not the one that was actually on that committee, but the kind of home mission secretary kind of person.
Yep.
Lovely man. And but as you say, the FU, I was fit to be tied. And I just went and emailed and said, it was just embarrassing. They don't know what they're talking about. God's calling me to ministry and this silly committee can't see it.
Yep.
So,
wow.
He was a wise man and he said, we have this little church down the south coast without a minister. Would you be prepared to go down there and just work with him? So in 1966, I got married in April of 66 after being knocked back that many times. I thought, I'm going to get married.
Yep.
Because I was single going into college in those days. So I got married and then in late 66 I went down to this Fairy Meadow. And then spent a couple of years there just working with these people.
But what a wise man.
I was very
There's
wise.
a different, he said, this guy's got a thing, sees the spirit
check
in
him
you.
out.
Let's test it.
Either he's got a thing or we'll get rid of him one way.
Yeah, but
or he'll learn pretty quick that's not really what he's signing up for.
Yeah.
Well,
a different pathway because we don't all go down the same pathway.
And they loved me and I loved them. I was very, very eccentric and
I bet.
and dopey, but you fall on your feet a bit. But they were a good mentoring church. And I've often said in my later years, when ministers are ordained, they need to go to a church that can mentor well.
Yeah, I agree.
Because after that one, which was brilliant, I went to another one that was brilliant. The third one, not so good. And if you're off your trolley, as I was, and really not sensitive, you need people who can say, look at me, look at me.
Yeah.
And they, rather than that, they just blew up and accused me. So it got quite nasty.
As we were talking about off camera, you're not winking at us or the camera.
No.
There's a story there that somehow you lost your eye.
In 1972, I was again, this is lay pastoring while you're in college. So I'm in college, Ferry Meadow. I'm in college at Arncliffe. Beautiful people there. Not a bit unhappy at the other place, but another church I was at. And I was playing competition squash with some of the youth people. We had a competition going. And I got hit in the racket. Hit in the eye, in the face, and I was in a coma. My youngest was 11 days old. Poor old Brenda went through a time because I remember being in the eye hospital and the baby was in a little Moses basket.
Yeah.
And a cat wandered in. I don't know where the cat came from.
Cat?
Yeah, and urinated in the Moses basket. So Brenda was already under stress. I've just had a baby. I've got my husband's in hospital. He's almost died, and now the cat's
been pissing on my baby.
Hospital. in the hospital, in the eye hospital down at wherever it is, not far from here. Yeah. So I was in the coma for a while, and then, but the interesting thing, because at that stage I'm a very, the Congregational Church, this is weird, isn't it? Kind of almost divided down the middle between the left and the right, like the evangelical, conservative, and the liberal, whatever that means.
Okay. Yep.
So the North Shore, where we are now, that was like Roseville, liberal.
Wow.
Sutherland Shire, God's country, right?
Right.
And so I was on that side. I was from Denali, Sutherland area. And so I was just following that line. And we had two different youth groups, two totally separate youth groups. Now, the college was suspicious from the Conservatives because anything educational happened when I was in America with the Baptists. If it's higher education, it must be liberal, therefore suspect. And I was warned when I went into college, watch out for the sin in the place and they'll change you. So the principal, who was considered as the principal, liberal and all that, because he's a bit high church too, was suspect. So I'm in the hospital with this. I'm in college at this stage. I've been a couple of years by then. He comes in and I'm in a coma.
Yep.
He's crying.
Yep.
He's so, because his boys. Don't forget, there's no women.
No.
In this.
Oh, you've got no women in college.
Well, see, the Congregational were the first ordained women in Australia.
Oh, interesting.
In the 1850s. And we had a very powerful Hilda Abba, who was the principal's wife a few decades before. But it was still a resistive thing in the 1960s. So I'm lying in the hospital in 1972. I'm almost actually through college by then. And he's crying. Because, interestingly, I'd finished all my diploma a year early. See, neurodiverse people, once you tell them they can't do it,
you're on.
They're pig-headed and I'll show you.
Or particularly if you're engaged, hyper-focus.
Yeah, and then, of course, it's a minimum 5-year program. Yeah. And I'm finished in 4 years.
Wow.
Right? And so I've got a year spare. So I then got
So you got hit in the face.
Well, I got matriculated university.
Yeah.
To do psychology. Then got hit and then I got hit in the racket. So I missed that year.
So he's there crying over you?
He's crying over me. You're trying to get me focused, aren't you, John?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. He's good, isn't he?
He's good.
Yeah.
I can wander, and he's crying, and
Yeah.
I'm thinking in the coma, this guy cares.
Yeah.
He's a liberal.
Oh, wow.
So when I came out of the coma, he said, because his lads, his boys were everything with him, can I do anything for you? And I said, would you bring me the Holy Sacrament? Now, for an evangelical to say that, which was a memorial feast once whenever,
Oh, wow.
that was I hadn't realised what a step that was.
Wow.
And ever since then, if I get into when I had cancer and a few other things I've had, when I'm in crisis, I get daily sacrament.
Yeah.
And when I was mentoring a church that was in trouble, I said, we will have every sacrament, every service until we can be. So I'm a weekly sacrament person.
And I remember you saying to me in supervision one time, Peter, we were talking about some tricky stuff, and you told me that story about sacrament and how if you've got a sense of pain or lack of forgiveness with the other, you shouldn't really take
Absolutely.
the sacrament.
Do not
that
eat this unworthily. You eat damnation to your soul. So on the 2 occasions I've been a real split with my church, I've suspended myself from communion.
Yeah, I remember you telling me
One
this.
time was 2 years
Yeah.
until there's either reconciliation or we've done as much as we can and there's nowhere we can go.
Yeah, wow.
It's not a pride thing. It's a humbling thing. It's me saying I will model.
Yeah, wow. It's
Wow.
big.
Big story.
It's a big story.
Big story. And there's more to come.
Yeah.
So,
We'll be back with
Reverend
more.
Dr. Peter Powell. So great to know that your life is normal in the fact that bad stuff happens to all of
Bad
us.
stuff happens.
And
There's struggle.
but there's this sense of resilience, this amazing
There's
resilience
resilience, but you can't.
and help.
But it's hard to be resilient on your own.
Yeah.
And I found that good mentoring, and I've tried to get a broader mentoring because I think it's unfair for your wife to be the only person carrying
Yes,
you.
yep.
Someone once said, "How'd you get the 60-year marriage to survive?" I said, "Pick-headed wife," which kind of tongue in cheek, but there's some truth in that, or determined one.
Yeah.
But in the more recent
Gritty.
years, the last
Yes.
the last half of our marriage, I've tried to pick up my male garbage and be more of a contributor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
wonderful.
so helping, she's now a writer, she's a published writer, author. So she works in her office and I clean
She's a
and cook and-
powerhouse.
Yeah, I try to support her now.
Excellent.
That's amazing.
So what a story.
Yeah.
Grit.
I can't wait for the
Grace.
next part.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good one.
Filth and hope.
Yeah, grit
Excellent.
and
Thank
grace.
you for watching or listening. Thanks, Reverend Dr. Peter,
Thank
brother,
you for listening.
mentor. And we'll be back next episode.
Yeah, amazing.
Bye. We're really glad you've joined us. You know, if you can do all that liking and subscribing, it just helps the algorithm help other people find what we're talking about. So if you find it useful, do that clicky stuff. Thanks.